afternoon. My name is Lyde, and welcome to the B2M Show. Today we have Rev Zack Lyde as our guest today. We want to welcome. As we continue, we want to deal with real people doing real things in the community, and I would kind of robbery not to have this young man to come and share some wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from a universal language. So, welcome Zack Lyde.
Thank you for having me, Nigel. It's been a pleasure working with you these many years. I remember being in the backyard with you trying to train me to be the kind of activist that the community needs, that's wholesome in their heart and serious about the idea that they need to bring about change in the lives of human beings. Our backyard chats,
Yes, sir.
we're quite the thing.
Today we're going to talk about a few things. Rev Zack Lyde, not only activist, community spokesperson, he's about real things in the community. First, our question we're going to be for today is, who is Zack Lyde?
Oh, thank you for asking me that question, because I am probably the most maligned person in the city of Brunswick. Been to jail a lot, and I've always gone to jail with the reasonable expectation that I have not been a crook, that I have not done things that were evil, that I've done it based on the fact that what I believe in, I stand up for. I was born here in Brunswick, Georgia, went to a segregated high school called Risley High School, where we did win championships and we did beat people to pieces. My great-grandfather founded Zion Baptist Church here in Brunswick. He was the moderator of the Zion Missionary Baptist Association for 32 years. And my father was brought here as a pastor to Zion, married my mother, and my first prayer meeting was in a chain gang in this town. So I just want to let you know, I've been in the Army, was in the Army for 12 years, fought in Vietnam. I have a family. My family is gorgeous and on both sides. My first wife walked away after a major incident from when I came out while I was going to Morehouse. That happened to me in my life. I would rather not go back through that, but you know, I ain't ashamed of nothing that has happened to me in life. We've been involved in all kind of ranges of knowledge giving and organizing, and one of the best that we had was the environment where we wanted people to have a community in which they could live, work, play, and learn, and be safe in and not poisoned by this community, by the corporations in this community.
We appreciate everything.
I was a Baptist preacher too, okay? I don't want you to believe that just because I talk funny, look funny, ain't got no teeth today. That's because the police knocked them out when I was arrested in 2009, but I ain't ashamed of it. I want everybody to know what they did to me.
And you survived all that, and we thank you for serving our country at the time we did. Moving right along, why are you here today?
I'm here today because there is a major issue in the lives of everybody that I think that should be addressed very seriously. And it's universal health care. Universal health care initiated as a Baptist preacher for me in the stories and the work that Christ did and God did throughout the Bible, where he healed the sick, the lame, the blind, the crazed, the woman with an issue of blood. You just named it. Jesus was on the universal health care battlefield. And so because universal health care was established by our Creator God, and then during slavery, we had this whole issue of people not caring about our health that much. Now we are into a new phase from slavery to now where our president has made a major attempt with the Congress to bring about some very basic changes in the lives of all human they call universal health care. But part of that program is Medicare and Medicaid. Part of that program is Medicare and Medicaid. Medicaid is a program that is absolutely administered by the state, but they got to go and get money from the feds in order to help them to administer it. All right? You have to be careful about Medicaid because people want it closed down. Folk who are in the same category as people during slavery that didn't want us to have health care are on the battlefield again, trying to make sure that the poor, the lame, the seniors, black, white, green, gray, purple, it doesn't matter, don't have decent health care.
So, with all that being said, and very important, we're going to want you to share some about that information, give us a little background. Of course, Obama, that's a hot topic right now, and we appreciate the efforts he made. At the same time, sometimes it may be over folks' heads, folks who don't want to understand. So, if you would give us a little background about that.
Well, let us take a look at the average person understand that they need health care. If you cut your foot, you want it to stop bleeding, okay? If your nose starts running, you don't want to sniffle all the way through the night. If you can't sleep because of some things that happened to me during the time I was going to Vietnam with what we call PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. If you can't do that, if you're grouchy, if you're mean, because of these things, you and anybody in their right mind would want to have health care. So basically, everybody understands health care. What they don't understand is the politics of things. What they don't understand is their role in the politics of things. Politics is who gets what, when, and how they get it, okay? And what has happened to us, both black and white and most poor people, is that we have not been in the game. The game has been being run by a great group of people called ALEC, American Legislative Executive Council. They are made up of corporations all over this universe. Their intent is to make money at the expense of everybody they can. Giving health care is not making money for them. Making sure that you have decent health care is not their concern. In fact, it's just as bad as somebody making a statement today. We ought to lower, they said they ought to lower the hourly wage for workers in the United States of America. We got mean people who don't want health care, corporations who controlling the outcome, and our responsibility is to know if our foot is cut, we got to quit, stop it from bleeding. So we need to confront in every move that we can anybody who would deny us health care. When the woman who had the issue of the blood went to Jesus, even Jesus' people said, what in the world going on? So you got to come to a place in which what we do as citizens is to know that we have a right to health care. That means you have to stand up. You can't be sitting around waiting on Jesus to fix it in the morning. You got to do something. Faith without works is dead. And I happen to report to you today that we operating on faith and ain't doing no work. So therefore, Obama is having trouble with universal health care, and we ain't getting none. So it's time for us to change our wicked ways.
That's Rev Zack Lyde. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after this commercial break, and we'll finish up with some more conversation with Rev Zack Lyde. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. You missed the first half of the show, you missed a treat. You'll be able to get a copy of the transcript after the show. We'll leave the information on how to get more information, finding more information about Medicare in your area. If you want some counseling, he'll do the workshop and everything. We have our guest, Rev Zack Lyde. We're going to pick back up off the background about yourself and the healthcare, the universal healthcare, and pick up from there.
Universal healthcare is established in the Bible. It has been established quite seriously. And it's been established with our ancestors from Africa. Our people knew what it took to have them bushes have their municipal value. In fact, the Bible speaks of it. It talks about all kinds of salve being made from bushes, and how, in fact, that's how we used to heal the brokenhearted and the sick. So our people from Africa have always had a way of using God's preparation for them to make sure that they took care of the health needs of their community. When we got to America, wasn't nothing no different. Now, we have sort of established this thing that, you know, them Gullah Geechees, they do them roots. Well, you can play with it if you want. I'm not talking about it from a boogeyman standpoint, but I'm talking about what has actually happened. We have been able, all over all these many years, when we didn't have any way to get to the hospital, or we didn't have any doctor to come into the community, we did not have anything but maybe a nurse to what they call the midwife. Boy, you got it. Boy, that's what I like about you. Was you delivered by a midwife?
No.
I was delivered by a midwife. In fact, they had a little place that was the hospital here in Brunswick, and it had colored folk having to go around the back and stuff. My mama and them used to have them 12 children that she had in the house. And guess what? I'd be here and I'd be out over it. So I hear that cry, ah! And midwife had them come and gone, and daddy was standing outside, hitting himself on the chest. Talking about, the Lord is good. And so healthcare has been a serious problem, situation in all of our lives. Medicaid has been put in a position to be used to help the poor, the afflicted, and the senior citizens to have health care administered by the state. Right now, the argument is get rid of health care, both Medicaid, Medicare, and let's look at Social Security while we're at it. So if you sit silently on a day-to-day basis, hoping that they won't cut Medicaid, guess what they're going to do? Why you believe that? Me and you been around a while. Talk to me and tell me why you believe that.
Well, we go straight basic from the Word. The Word of God says, faith without works is dead.
My God, brother. Have you started preaching since I met you?
No.
Well, you're right. It means that what we have to do is we have to be vigilant, do some work to make sure that we ensure that health care stays on the book. I'm here because of Medicaid being protected by you, the folk in the community, by saying what Moses had to say to Pharaoh. Let my people go, okay? Now we as people, black, white, green, and gray, need to say to the government, do not under any circumstances mess with Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security. Even George Bush understood what a great thing it was to have health care. Today, a young lady passed by the name of Betty Ford. Betty Ford's work was in health care for women. Women need to understand that they are under assault to try to prevent them from having health care. Now, when I said Bush, I meant George W. Bush. Bush, in 2003, signed the Medicare Modernization Act. They implemented it in 2005. What it was is two major things happened. Three major things happened. First, they contracted with insurance companies to pay the bills of people who was on Medicare. They contracted with people on Medicare, with insurance company to pay the bills.
That sounds like one of them three-hand Monty tricks right there.
Oh, don't talk to me about that trick now. You know, I learned earlier about three-card Monty, okay?
That's that New York style thing.
Well, it's serious now. Three-card Monty is not anything to play with. But when they contracted with these insurance companies, they contracted basically not only to pay the bills, but come up with a new program they call the Part D program, which was to lower the cost of medication for seniors on Medicare, of drugs for seniors on Medicare. Lower the cost of drugs for people on Medicare. I said seniors, but for people on Medicare. That's where what Part D does. Part D causes people who have a tremendous drug cost to have that cost at least reduced at least 50%. So if you don't have a Part D program, then what you may be doing is paying more money than you should for drugs. At one point in time in this country, people was trying to decide between medicine and food. I thought you were going to catch up with me. I thought you were going to catch up, but you used to be sharper than this, man. You used to be on your toes. You act like you mesmerized now. You was in backyard chat with me. You know that you're supposed to react quickly to the fact that what happened is people that got drugs were paying a tremendous amount on their drug costs, and they had to make a decision. Okay, do I eat or do I get my medicine? What did they choose?
They medicine.
Why?
Because they want to live. You know.
I disagree with you, my friend.
What you think?
They chose their food. They had to. First of all, the medicine cost too much. The food was the thing that they knew was keeping them alive. Okay? So they opted to let the medicine go and just eat. Therefore, all the money that they were going and having to pay for the doctor to look after them and the hospitals to look after them, and then the medication that was prescribed for them ruined the whole program. So the pharmacist said, wait a minute, this ain't doing us no good. Okay, the big pharma said, hey, let us get George Bush in here to sign the Medicare Modernization Act, which brought about Part D program. Now, Part D was not the only thing that came about as a result of him signing the Medicare Modernization Act. There was also a thing they call Part C. Part C is what they call the Medicare Advantage plans. Medicare Advantage plans are those plans that pay for either your hospitalization, and that's what happens, or your doctor's visits or your out-of-hospital care. Okay? And what happens here is that Part C program was came into existence at the same time that Part D came into existence. Bush and them contracted then with the insurance companies to, in fact, pay the bills. Now, you're still in Medicaid. What does that mean to you?
Still in Medicaid, you're coming up short.
No. It means that what happens is, if you're still in Medicaid, when one of them doctors or one of them silly pharmacists, now you got to know this, because doctors ain't God, pharmacists ain't God, hospitals ain't God, only God is God. And if that is the case, then what happens is they, in fact, don't make all the wholesome decisions that people need to make for themselves. You got to be involved in this process yourself.
We all need to be involved. We're going to take a commercial break and we have more on real people doing real things. Thank you. We're back again to wrap up the session with Mr. Rev Zack Lyde, real folks doing real things in the community. We're going to pick back up on the conclusion of the Medicare, Medicaid, and then we'll wrap it up with the last few comments.
Boy, it is a pleasure for me to be here. I wish the real pro, I'm a pro at this, but I got a little pro that's, that went to Hampton University, went to Brunswick High, got all kind of scholarships, and she went to Hampton University and back here working now. And she and I are partners in trying to educate the community on, one, what they have in terms of their benefits, how they can make sure they maximize their benefits, and how and what Medicare and Medicaid and all of these products mean. Both of them, she and her name is Brandy Lyde Whitfield, one of them pretty girls, man. And she married to a guy named Jonas. Jonas is a hard-working young man from out there in your neck of the woods. Both of y'all little country boys that pick dear tongue for your school clothes. That's right. But that's why I love both of y'all, because it means that you have the focus of purpose that people need to make a difference in the lives of human beings. But Brandy Lyde can always be reached for help and instruction on this Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security matter at her phone number at 912-571-4612. And if she is busy, then call old Papa here. Papa is available 24/7 at 912-571-9828. We would be glad to be able to assist in helping people to find the best program for them that services this area. These programs are specific. Now, you might have United Healthcare all over the United States of America. You might have one company that just looks after Franklin County and Glenn County. They are called service areas. So in these service areas where certain companies work, and in particular in Glenn, in Florida, my daughter has a license in Florida. You have to be a licensed person. You just can't walk up and just say, look, and if you do something that is stupid, all people that enroll in these plans are still under Medicare. And Medicare is the papa, the granddaddy of them all. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, you go for your grievances, your appeals, any problem that might come up with you, and whether you believe you have been mistreated either by the plan or the person that enrolls you in the plans, because you have to be enrolled in the plans. You just can't stay in Medicare. You can stay in Medicare alone, but the cost usually is going to be higher if something come up, because there's a 20% responsibility if you have to go into the hospital or you have to go into a nursing home. That 20% can add up real serious. We don't have the time tonight or today to thoroughly feather all this out with you, but we would love to with anybody that will call us or get in touch with us. And even if you got a plan now and you've had some misunderstanding or you don't understand what you got, please call us.
So they can actually call Mrs. Brandy Lyde Whitfield or Zack Lyde to give a consultation on to make sure you're having the right services for your situation. They'll come where you are. We'll have more information for you at the end of the show, and they're available. Service community folk doing real things. So now with that background on the Medicare, Rev Lyde, what do you think can happen now?
What can happen now is education. Ignorance is the milk of death. And until we make a decision that we are not going to be drinking that milk no more and become educated on every and all things, both historical, present, and look to the future. If we don't take education seriously, then we are going to be doomed to the whims of politicians, corporations, and people that don't want us to fare very well. We live here. We have our business here. We go to church here. We argue here. We fight here. We love here. We do all of that here. And because we are proud Gullah Geechees that live on this coast, we would love to be able to help anyone, black, white, we don't care. We know what the problems are in this country in terms of us being divided on issues like this, and what it will bring, what difference it brings in terms of service and in terms of protection. So let's have a conversation. Let's have a big conversation. Let's go into churches. Let's go in the street. Let's come to your place and do this again. Let's call Thomas when he's up there cutting trees and let him know that we want to come down from that tree, Zachariah, and let us work on making sure that somebody get the help they need with Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. May God bless you, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, yes, sir.
This is going to wrap up today's session on the B2M Show, Rev Zack Lyde. We appreciate it. We thank you for coming out and sharing this time with us. Get ready next. Stay tuned for next week's show, dealing with more real people, real talk. This is my guest for the night, Rev Zack Lyde. I'm Nigel Mark, your host. Thank you. Good evening. God bless.